I have like a love-hate relationship with Cyprus.
Do you think there's a right time period to take to say I love you or to feel these feelings?
I love you, it feels very serious.
Yeah.
It feels mature.
Yeah.
In love, it's like, okay, I can understand if you're falling in love with someone.
So how do you deal with breakups?
Ooh.
I think women are broken up long before they break up.
Oof. Big time. We don't suddenly just like decide, now we're going to break up. It's like a process of like a long time that we see signs.
Not to generalize, but I feel like our generation has become very lazy with relationships.
I think so too. I think it also has a lot to do with social media.
People need to understand that what you see on social media is very much not real.
It's not how it is in real life. Does it take like days for you to realize it? Or is it like
I give myself 1 day. I think once I even walked out on a guy, I was like, I'm sorry, I can't deal with this. And I left. If you look at a guy wearing normal clothes, and he's like a 6. If he wears a tux, he's a 9.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that.
The tuxedo does something to men.
What is it about?
I don't know. It's the tuxedo effect. Another day, another episode. Welcome back.
Welcome back, Maria.
To Ice Latte Girls.
With Olivia Constantinides
and Maria Gojkovicc. So I'm very excited to be back.
Same, girl.
We're on a roll.
Yeah, we haven't spoken even with each other since we last recorded. So it's like a catch up also.
It's literally become our form of catching up.
Is this going to be our only way of catch up also?
I hope not.
Yeah.
That would be sad.
We got quite sad.
But then everyone else can catch up with us.
That's
so
true.
It's fun.
Juicy.
So how's your time in Cyprus been? You're here with your boyfriend. You've been here for a while now. How's it been?
It's always nice to come back to Cyprus, to see the family, to see the friends, and to get back into work, have new collabs. It is a nice way, but also I must say that Cyprus, I have like a love-hate relationship with Cyprus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you do live in Mallorca. You decided to move abroad, stay abroad after many years of traveling.
I don't see it as traveling. I see it as more as because of COVID happened, we tried to like find places to live where everything was open. And we happened to be going to those places.
So since COVID started, where have you lived?
Yeah.
Let's outline it.
Ooh, we're diving directly into the core. Okay, that's good. So when the second lockdown happened in Cyprus, we were like, shit, where are we going to go? We don't want to be in Cyprus. And Sweden, luckily, was the only place in Europe was open. So we went to my mom, we stayed there. And then Ramon, he went to Amsterdam for a week. This was like December, January. So it was extremely cold in Sweden. And he came back from Amsterdam and he was like, Olivia, I can't do this. I can't. It's too cold. I'm gonna get depressed.
Oh, he's like me.
Yes, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, what can we do? And I'm like, bear in mind.
And you had been dating for like 6 months.
Yeah, bear in mind we had only been together for 6 months. We had not even said I love you yet. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like we were officially together, obviously, but it was still not, that of a relationship yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what are we going to do? Like, what do you have in mind? He's like, yeah, I need to leave. We need to go somewhere. And I'm like, okay, what is open then? Like, because things were closed, countries was closed. And we checked the list and Tulum was the only place.
So you moved to Mexico.
We went to the other side of the world. And I didn't have any income then.
Oh my God. So what were you doing?
I did have a little bit of income, something to move around by, but not something to be able to live like
in
Tulum with. And he said that he can like help me out in the beginning because things were closed. Brand deals were not really happening. People didn't know their budget for the years. It was a lot of uncertainty. You also remember that time.
And January is general in both the fashion industry and the influencer marketing industry, always a low month.
Yes.
Like after the Christmas period, like people are rethinking their budgets for their years, their campaigns for the year.
Exactly.
It's not really high season for us.
No, it's always...
January, February is usually low.
Girl, every January I'm stressing like crazy. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna have any income this year. So we booked a ticket 2 days after we flew to Tulum. That was like, I think that was one of the most spontaneous things I did in my life.
Yeah, it was. I remember when you told me, I was like, you're doing what?
Yeah. And I was in Sweden, so I had winter clothes. I didn't have anything summery at all. So I was like, Mom, can I borrow summer clothes? We have booked tickets to Tulum. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, we're leaving on Friday. This was Wednesday evening. I went to my mom's place, packed a lot of stuff, bought things for my sister. And yeah, then we were on the plane. It was really stressful, but we arrived because airports were closing down. There was no certainty. So yeah, we arrived in Tulum. We stayed there for, like, long story short, we went there, stayed there for 3 months. Europe was opening up. And the thing is, we didn't want to come back to Cyprus.
So then after Tulum, you were there for 2-3 months. You moved to Portugal?
Yeah, we went back to Amsterdam to be like, okay, because Ramon, he's from Amsterdam. And we're like, okay, what the heck are we going to do now? Because
don't swear.
Heck is not really a swear word, is it? Is it? No, right? Thank you. What the heck are we going to do now? And we were like, okay, what countries are open in Europe? And Lisbon.
Yeah.
So we went to Lisbon, stayed there for 3 months. We rented an Airbnb. It was really cool because things were like closed.
And by that point, your job started picking up. Yes. So you guys were going, I mean, I don't know if we can talk about this, but you were going very 50-50 on everything.
Yes, definitely. Very 50.
To clarify, because you said Ramon was covering you.
No, he was helping me out. But of course,
that was brief.
Yes, that was brief. And
we're independent.
Yeah, trying to be. No, we are independent. We are.
No, because a lot of people do make this assumption about you. They're like, how do you afford to move from country for country, go to Tulum, live across the world? Well, you work.
Exactly. I work, and also I don't have any loans. I don't have mortgages, so I only have my income and myself. So
you live very much month to month.
Yes, very much month to month, and just hoping that it will continue for the next month. But that's the price you pay for having the lifestyle that we have, in that sense. I wouldn't change for anything. But so we stayed in Tulum for 3 months. Also, I couldn't have any collab deals there because it was quite hard to send things from Cyprus to Mexico.
Yeah.
It is a long way. And also they have so many regulations. You're like not allowed to send jewelry. You're not allowed to send. And then
it arrives and you pay customs?
Did I? I don't think I did.
Okay.
But you pay like almost like 100 euros.
Because when I received the package from Australia, it was literally my friend sending me a gift. It was one of my best friends sent me a gift from Australia for my dog.
Oh.
And they were like, we need the receipt and you need to pay extra customs and taxes. I'm like, guys, it's a gift for my dog.
Damn.
And she was like, what's the value of it? And she went to open it and it was a bit pricey. And I was like 20 euros? Do I really need to pay customs on 20 euros? And she looked at me and she's like, just go.
Oh, that's a nice thing with Cyprus.
Yeah.
You can get away with it.
Sometimes it depends on the mood of the person across you, you know?
True. On a good day, you're also being on the lucky side.
Yeah, but it's a little bit silly. My friend also from the UK wanted her roommate to send her a used old pair of shoes. And she got stopped at customs and they're like, yeah, you need to pay for customs. She's like, they're my shoes. I've owned them for years. Why would I pay for customs now? My friend's sending them back to me from the UK. Like some weird stuff.
Doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense.
They just want to make extra money.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, no. So I don't remember exactly if I paid customs.
Okay.
I don't think I did.
But it was just not very
No,
easy.
we were sending with DHL and
it would take time and
Yeah. And they were extremely slow at the DHL service in Tulum. Oh my God.
Really?
It was ridiculous.
Worse than here?
Worse. I didn't think that things could be worse, but worse. When you go to Mexico and you're trying to get a package, I was waiting for, I was like almost first in line and I was waiting for an hour. Like it was ridiculous things.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we went to Lisbon. Lisbon was a really nice experience because I remember posting stories and people would be like, whoa, this is how Lisbon is. I was there a few years ago and it was so packed. And I was like, oh yeah, of course. There's not really a lot of people because it was,
COVID.
Exactly. Everything was closed. So we really experienced Lisbon with calmness. It was exactly what we needed from, we suddenly had our own kitchen. We didn't need to eat or order takeout the whole time.
You settled down by that point.
It was the first time we also shared an apartment together.
Did you say I love you yet?
Oh yeah, we did that. Yeah, good point. We did that in Tulum. I think it was like 2 days after Valentine's Day. He said, I love you.
Do you think there's a right time period to take to say I love you or to feel these feelings?
I think it is when you start feeling them. But I am like you. I'm also a little bit more traditional that way. I want the man to say I love you first.
Yeah.
So, until you're waiting for the man to say I love you, I feel like this is like an awkward period there because you both can like look each other in the eyes and you're like, okay, now it's going to say I love you. It's going to happen. And it doesn't happen. And you're like, oh, when is it going to happen? And
do you love me? Do you not?
Do you start like overthinking yourself? Oh, it's a very awkward period.
Okay. Do you think someone can say it too fast?
Yes.
What would be too fast?
Like after a week? I mean, that would be a little bit red flag if he would say, I love you.
Yeah. Actually, one of my friends recently started seeing a guy, but like just going on dates and stuff, like nothing special. I mean, the first time or the second time they met up, I was there. It wasn't even a proper date. And after a week of knowing her, he goes around and he's like, I love you.
No. Oh my God, that's so hard.
And it was such an ick.
Wait, what did you do?
For me, I was like, I understand that because, for example, in Serbia, it's a very typical thing. You meet someone and after 3 days, you're like, you're the love of my life. I love you. No. Things are very fast paced.
Oh.
So it's also a cultural thing. In Cyprus, I think people tend to take time.
Yeah.
But I also think there's a big difference between I'm in love with you and I love you. It's two very different phrases.
I love you. It feels very serious.
Yeah.
It feels mature.
Yeah.
Like the person to say I love you. But the in love, it's like, okay, I can understand if you're falling in love with someone. Like, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I think when when you feel it, you feel it. I don't think there's a right time. I definitely think 3 to 4 days is fast. But you know what? If you feel it in the first 2 weeks, that in love stage, it's okay to express your feelings. I don't think it's horrible. And I think you pick up on the other person's energy. For example, you weren't sure if he's going to say, I love you, but you felt it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have dated and never said, I love you, but we knew we loved each other.
How do you get that vibe? Like what are the signs that you see?
It's not even signs. Obviously, it's also the person's behavior, like how they treat you. It shows. Someone will show you, I'm bigger on actions than words. So if someone loves you, they will make it known through their gestures. And for me, like the cutest signs of love and just like things I look for in a guy, like in a relationship, is when he will walk on the side of the road and not let me walk on the side of the road. Or like when I go to like bend down and get something, he'll put his hand so I don't hit my head. Or like these little kind of gestures where you can see that the other person really takes care of you.
And notices you also.
Yeah, or like orders you food and like just takes care of you, And you do the same, obviously.
Yeah.
So these little things, like gets you a chocolate on his way home, on his way to see you. I don't know, little things.
Yes.
And there you can see that someone is interested in you, maybe perhaps not in love with you. And then it's more of like an energy thing. You can see how the other person looks at you and you can feel the energy as well.
Yeah.
I'm big on vibes, as I've said in previous episodes, obviously, with friendships, with any type of dynamic. But I think you just feel it.
Yeah.
You don't need to, you just know.
Yeah, it's true. Because it's also like a very fine line. Because I think in the past, I did not really feel it. I was not really in touch with myself to be able to understand what the other person is actually doing, the gestures. But it's a good point because in so many ways, I will be Delulu and think that, that person cares. But that also goes into the topic of toxicity and manipulation. Like they're only doing it because they know it's good, but then they change. That's happened also before.
I mean, also sometimes, like I noticed through my friends and everything, like it takes breaking up and then time passing by to realize that those feelings maybe were not as intense as I thought, or that relationship was not as good as I thought, or that relationship was not as bad as I thought. I don't know. So it takes some time and distance to reflect back.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with breakups?
Ooh, good question.
Sorry, Ramon. And we're allowed to talk about this, right?
Yeah, of course. Yes, of course. I actually had a conversation with him. I'm like, is there anything that you don't want me to mention? And he was like, yeah, you can talk. I mean, it's your podcast together with Maria. Aww. You should talk the way that you talk with each other.
That's so cute. He's so supportive.
Like, obviously, I will not share things that we do behind closed doors. And you know what I mean? Without going into details. Or maybe I will in the future. You don't know.
I don't want to know. Or maybe I do know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
So what's the question? I forgot.
How do you deal with breakups?
Yeah.
I mean, you've had bad breakups in your life.
Oh, girl, I've been dumped many times and I got my heart
really?
broken many times.
Oh my God, I think I've never been dumped.
Yeah, I remember you saying this and it is still funny.
I mean, it's not really a flex. I'm not saying it as a flex. It's just a statement.
It sounds kind of like a flex, but I think it's good
that
for
doesn't
you.
mean I haven't been heartbroken though.
Yeah, and also I can also imagine that it is also sometimes tougher to dump someone than to get your heart broken.
Oh yeah, you feel guilty. Like when you actually have to do the breaking up, I think a lot of men also avoid it for that reason.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my guy friends will like avoid breaking up with a girl and get her to do it because they feel guilty. I think there's a sense of responsibility and guilt when you see that the other person is hurting. I mean, especially if it's not a toxic relationship and you shared something nice and beautiful, you don't want to see the other person suffer.
No.
You don't want to see someone in pain. And with age now, like back in the day, I used to break up and be like, whatever, never talking to you again. Like my ego was through the roof. Now with age, I'm kind of like, no, I wish you all the best. Like I don't know. I've learned that you can be happy for someone and good with someone and just not a good fit and not want to be with them.
You've grown
and
some
like,
empathy.
Yeah, my ex, for example, I wish him all the best. My exes, all of them, I wish them all the best. I hope they're happy. I hope they're great. We weren't a good fit. That's okay.
If only more people felt that way, that would be so much more. It would be, I think, a more beautiful world.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course, depending of how the breakups were.
It depends how your relationship was. I mean, if there's no betrayal and no toxicity and no bad feelings, how can you be so involved with someone and then suddenly like completely switch off and hate them? You can't. That's not normal.
I think it goes like over time, like especially for us women, we don't suddenly, I cannot speak for all women, but especially for you and me, we don't suddenly just like decide now we're going to break up. It's like a process of like a long time that we see signs. We see signs. We're like, okay, he still did not see what I meant by that, or he still did not do what it was.
I think women are broken up long before they break up.
Oof, big time.
And I've noticed this through every woman I've interacted with. Like if a woman breaks up with you, she's been broken up with you for months.
Yeah, she was done already.
She was done. She was giving you those last chances. You blew them. And she emotionally broke up with you and detached from you way before she said the words.
Yeah. And also we like give chances without actually saying them verbally, but we say it different ways. But in our heads, as you said, they were like, this is another chance. No, I'm going to forgive him this time and again. And he still does not see it.
But it's not just that. Like, I don't want to tell you what you need to do. I'm not going to paint you a picture.
No, we're not your mom.
Yeah, I don't want to like direct you. I'm not a director. I'm not a producer. This is not a movie.
Yeah.
You need to want to do things. I want you to want to do things.
Yes, that's the thing. Like, why don't men just understand that we want you to bring flowers, like you to
it's
do it by
really
yourself?
Not that complicated.
No.
On your way home from work, you stop by, you buy a little bouquet of flowers. It doesn't have to be something fancy, and you bring it home.
Also, if you don't have money for flowers, which can be like an excuse, write a little like note. I love you, and leave it in her purse.
Or in the morning, like leave it on the mirror. Yeah, when she's getting ready in the bathroom.
Man,
like
we
little
should be men. There's so many.
Or like on your way, when you're on your way from work, you don't want to buy flowers. Buy her favorite chocolate.
Yeah, it's so easy. Women are easy to please.
Once in a while, just bring her breakfast in bed. It's really not that hard.
Give her a massage.
You don't want to make it? Order it.
Literally.
Bolt, Walt, Foodie.
There's so
lots of
Uber
options.
Eats. Yeah.
It's really not that hard. It just takes effort. So yeah, I don't know. Relationships have become weird. Both men and women have become very lazy. Women still give a bit more, I feel, not to generalize, but I feel like our generation has become very lazy with relationships.
I think so too. I think it also has a lot to do with social media.
And it's just people, instead of working on problems and issues and finding a compromise, which your compromise should never be a compromise of yourself.
They
but
cheat
just like
instead.
Maybe not necessarily cheat, but look for the next best thing. People,
Cheating.
instead of fixing a relationship, will like leave that person and just bounce off to the next great thing. And I actually saw something really interesting. This guy was talking on TikTok and he was saying how a 12-year-old boy nowadays sees more naked women online or half naked women than a king or I don't know, politicians and kings back in the day.
Whoa.
Which is really true. Everything has been just so
accessible.
It's become so out there.
Yeah.
So just like that innocence of relationships has vanished, and everyone sees this certain lifestyle online and everyone strives for that. And I just feel like genuine connections, not very much there
There's
anymore.
so much distractions happening the whole time. Like you're comparing yourself what you see on Instagram. You compare relationships. You see people on the street.
But there's been so many instances where these Instagram couples, these perfect relationships, you later find out that he was cheating on her. Or there's even been like situations where he literally murders her.
Yeah. Oof.
And then the news article goes viral and everyone's like, oh, but their relationship seems so perfect. People need to understand that what you see on social media is very much not real.
It's not how it is in real life.
It's just not. People share a percentage of what they want to share. It's a very conscious decision. Oh, this is shareable. They go through something personal, horrible. You never know about it.
Who wants to share bad parts of their life? They just want to share the highlights, and that's okay. But we also have to be, as consumers, aware that people are also just people. They also have lives. They also have problems. It's not all just picture perfect. There's so much more to it. And I think it's also our responsibility as influencers, but also as consumers.
I don't like that word.
I know, but it is the word to describe it. I mean, content
creators.
Yeah, but also influencers. You do influence people in many ways.
I mean, I don't know. I don't like that word.
It's only because it's so frowned upon by others. But and also being influencer is also an actual job. But anyway, that's a topic for a different time.
So how do you deal with a breakup? We never answered that question.
I cry for the first 2 weeks. I let myself feel every emotion. I also think it depends on the age. Now, of course, last time I got heartbroken was in my early 20s.
Okay.
So that's a different Olivia. And that Olivia liked to party, liked to go out, liked to escape. So then I would have cried a lot for 2 weeks. I escaped, went to a different country, for example. I traveled. I'm lucky that I have parents in different countries. And I would cry. Honestly, I would feel so sad about myself. But then at some point, I just snap. I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I just get this like anger inside of me. Okay, he doesn't want me. Now he's going to see. And then I'll start working out and start eating healthy. I think it's like a very typical cycle. I assume I'm very typical in that way. Like exactly what they say, like on this memes you can see, I'm that girl. I go exactly through all those like process, grieving process and sadness. And then I suddenly revenge. But if it would happen now, which I think I'm a more mature Olivia, I'm a more sensible one, I think I would, of course, spend time with family and friends, but I will not drink alcohol. I've noticed from all the times I've been heartbroken, it does not really help you. You just feel the process goes slower into recovering. It's also damages your body. I mean, we all know the bad benefits, the bad side effects of alcohol. And I would, start working out, eating healthy. I would still do that, but it would be more calmness. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah, you would be doing it for you and not to like, show the other person.
No, and also, of course, it depends on the heartbreak. Because I have various different kinds of heartbreaks, cheating and just getting dumped out of the blue.
Have you been cheated on?
Of course I have. Yes, I have been cheated on. When?
How'd you deal with that? Same way as a normal breakup?
I would think, of course, it's also, my ego gets very hurt.
All of us.
Yes. And it is, it's like you feel like something has broken inside of you when you have been cheated on. Like, why?
Could you ever forgive a cheater?
Oof. The thing is, I had forgiven a cheater in the past. Yeah. And I mean,
have you taken back an ex?
That didn't go well. What?
Could you take back an ex then?
A cheating ex nowadays? No.
But have you?
I have already before in the past. So I feel like I cannot really be hypocritical because I have taken back a cheater, and that's full on my responsibility that I did. But I generally believe that everything happens for a reason. So maybe that's what I needed then. I don't know. Maybe I needed to be cheated on multiple times, whatever.
I don't think anyone needs that.
No, I don't think so either. It's a very bad thing to do. I think we all should just break up if you don't want to be with a person. Like, I can get really triggered here. But anyway, no, nowadays I would not, of course, get back with a cheater. With an ex, it depends how you got broken up with. Like if it's broken up by circumstances, like you couldn't be together, or you're broken up, you move in different countries, or you just lost love interest, but it's like a respectful relationship, then yes, I would go back with an ex. Like for example, knock on wood, if me and Ramon will break up now, we have a really nice relationship, we are a healthy relationship. If for some reason we break up, I don't know, he doesn't want to live in Mallorca anymore and I want, whatever. Or I want to move back to Cyprus and he does not want to. And then after a few years or months, we meet each other again and we have talked about it or whatever. Yeah, I will go back with it. So I think it really depends on the situation. But with the cheater,
enough.
No.
Okay,
Done that, goodbye to that.
Good.
Yes, good. Some growth here. What about you? Would you go back?
Get back
with an ex?
I think we all have.
Yes.
I think we all have. I've never been really cheated on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very lucky in that sense that I know of, because you never really know. When I was younger, I would always be like, an ex is an ex, and no.
Mm-hmm.
But with age, as I've gotten older, I realized that sometimes timing is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're just not in the right situation, not the right circumstances. You're not ready for each other. There's so many factors in your life. And I always believed if he wanted to, he would, to a certain extent. If he wanted to, he would treat you well. If he wanted to, he would make an effort around you. But there are some things that even we can't give everything in a situation because there's so much going on in your life. You have career factors and family factors and friends and where you're living in at the moment. So it really depends.
Mm-hmm.
And I have, a lot of friends around me that broke up not because things were bad, it could not work in that moment.
Yeah.
So it really depends. I don't know. I've never had a terrible, terrible breakup.
Mm-hmm.
I did have one bad breakup maybe, but for me, it was never like, oh, I'm devastated for months. Like, you know what? Life goes on.
So you just go into the mindset of that. Like, how do you feel after a breakup? Like, does it take like days for you to realize it? Or is it like
I give myself 1 day. I give myself 1 day to cry and get it out. Even though that didn't really happen with each of them. But anyway, 1 day to cry and then throw myself into work, throw myself into other things, throw myself into exercise, into other things, and work on me for me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when I was younger, it was also to be like, look what you're missing.
Yes, that was typical.
But I never went to like crazy parties because I'm broken up or that. I never was that type of, party person.
Mm-hmm.
I was never heavy on alcohol. It's just not my vibe, never has been. But I would very much throw myself to stay occupied and stay busy because I'm going to sit and cry. What am I going to achieve?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it didn't work out. That's life. Life goes on. I very much used my logic.
Yeah.
And kind of dealt with my feelings, kind of buried them. And then just like with time, time heals all wounds. With time, you just get better. And sometimes, you just put things in a little box and you chuck it away.
Like, honestly, it's like hearing this, I'm like, oh, damn, she's in denial of the breakup. But it's also like,
I've digested every breakup before breaking up with the person. And it's a very different scenario.
And also because you were dumping the person.
It's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different.
I don't know. I'm scared to get broken up with now.
No, I hope that never happens to you. It's not a nice feeling to get dumped.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't know. I have though not gotten full closure.
That is also
which is also not a nice feeling.
Yeah, I believe every relationship should have a closure and just have like people just be honest, like say what was not working, how you were feeling.
Yeah,
and so the person can move on. That both people can move on. I think that would be very nice if that could be like a standard normalcy. Anyway,
personally, like every person I've broken up with. We've broken up. We just weren't a good match. So I'm not going to sit and cry about it. There's someone better for them out there. There's someone better for me out there. It's fine. It's life. Life goes on. I don't know.
But you as a personality, you are like very headstrong. You are very opinionated. You are also
I'm very sensitive.
And very sensitive.
But I'm very logical.
Yes. You work a lot with your brain, and that's one of your very good qualities.
Also, I work with a psychologist, so
yeah, that's also something really good.
So it helps me process those feelings, but without diving, I don't know, without, what's the word? It helps me dive into those feelings without putting my whole life on a hold and suffering about it. And I'm not the type of person that is going to sit and suffer over something I can't change.
Yeah.
Maybe for a day, maybe for 2 days, but that's it. Then I give myself a slot to suffer about it and then like move on, snap out of it.
Yeah.
Life is too short to sit and cry for a month over a boy.
Yeah.
I don't care. There's a million boys out there, whatever. Clearly it didn't work out. And I'm very much of the mindset, clearly either I don't want to be with them or they don't want to be with me. So why am I going to sit and be sad?
Yeah.
It's not my soulmate.
Yeah.
If I felt like it was really my soulmate, maybe I'd be more sad. But
were you like always like this, that you could just talk to yourself and snap yourself out of it?
Yes, since I was a child.
Okay, so it's like something you were born with.
Yeah, okay. I have high emotional intelligence.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people would need a person to help them snap out of it.
Yeah, maybe.
To have like a support person, like I don't know, it could be mom,
but
friend.
Also like I have dragged on relationships that should have ended sooner because I was processing through the relationship.
Yeah.
And I think I was having this conversation with one of my best friends, and I've had a lot of friends that dragged on a relationship or took time to break up or would break up and then have this weird stage with their ex until they fully break up. I think only you can decide when you're ready, and no matter who you have around you, and no matter what they're telling you, it's whatever you feel, and it's whenever you're ready. No sense of logic can push you into feeling ready to let go. You need to be ready. The timing needs to be right for you. Timing is a huge thing in life for everything, whether a relationship will work, whether you're ready to get out of a relationship, whether you're ready to get into a relationship, whether you're ready for a job, for a podcast, for a friendship, for anything. You need to be in the right timing in life, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anyone was to ask us for any advice, I think just give yourself some time, because everyone's different. Process your feelings. Personally, what helps me and has helped my friend when I suggested it was to make a list. Make a list of the things that weren't working. Make a list of the things you like that you look for in the next person. Lists. Make it practical. Make it mathematical a little bit in your head. And then also process your feelings. Let yourself feel, but also put your energy into something else. Yeah. Go out with your friends. Not out partying. Go out for coffee with your friends. Go for a hike.
Skip the alcohol.
Spend time in nature. Exercise. Exercise is something you should be doing anyway for your mental health being. So just put yourself out there and let yourself heal internally over time.
Start thinking about what is that you want to do for yourself, because most logically in a relationship, we lost ourselves. So all the things that you wanted to do and you just put them on hold, start opening up the ideas.
Yeah. And don't think about the next person. When you're ready, when you least expect it, it's going to flow back right into your life.
Do you think you should delete also all the photos you have with your ex?
I tend to do that.
It's like a cleansing. I do the same. It's like a cleansing. Like you don't want to see it pop up on your phone. So I think that's healthy. I don't know if consider it healthy.
I also think that sometimes like muting them on social media is a good thing.
Yes.
Or unfollowing.
Hide your
depending
story
on
so
what the breakup was
to
like.
See the person. I think that's also
you don't
helpful.
need to watch them.
Yeah.
It's okay. And I think the best thing is to just not communicate for a while. It's okay. Personally, like I want to be okay with the other person, and I want to be able to like have a brief conversation when we see each other. But if that doesn't happen, that's also okay. It depends on the breakup.
Yeah. And also because you were the one, like you have not been heartbroken, it's different.
Yeah,
like, I would not want to see my exes walking around if I'd just been broken, like heartbroken.
No, I'm the type of person that when it's done, and I'll be happy to see you move on, and I'll be happy to move on, and it's all good. And obviously we shared something together, something significant, clearly for us to still be involved, for us to have still been involved for so long. obviously you're happy for the other person. They did a lot of good for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it maybe didn't work out, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's just human to me to wish good upon others.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I have worse negative feelings towards my best friend's exes than my hate. My exes, I don't. I'm like, oh, bless you.
Yeah, but you were also lucky.
Good luck.
You were also
but
lucky.
But I dated good guys.
Good guys.
I dated good guys.
Yeah, there are some really bad ones out there.
But my friends' exes, when I see them out, I'm like, bitch face.
Yeah.
Like sometimes especially my certain friends that I'm really close with, when we see their ex somewhere and they see my face, they instantly know that I saw their ex and they start laughing because that level of bitch face only comes out to them.
You are the type of friend who will not...
I'm so protective.
You will not continue speaking with the ex of your friends to keep up. Because there are people...
Are you crazy?
There are people who do that, girl.
No, I had one of my really good friends had her ex still bugging her and begging her and whatever. I picked up the phone one day. I was like, stop bothering her. She does not want you. If you want to say something, say it to me.
You are a good friend.
And then he went to say something. I'm like, leave her alone.
You're a good friend to have when you have been broken up with. That's the truth.
And I am the friend that will try to distract you and try to make you snap out of it and talk logic to you. I really am.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think you need people like that.
Yeah.
But also, I will see the energy of the other person. And if I see that's not what they need, I will give them space.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes, I don't know, when a person is grieving, whether it's a relationship or any sort of loss in their life, sometimes the other person just wants you to sit and cry with them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just want you to sit in silence with them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they want to talk through their feelings. And it's okay to have the same conversation 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with it, as long as it will help you and as long as eventually it will end.
Yeah.
And as long as you take the advice, because sometimes you will be having a conversation with a friend and they'll go make the same mistakes again and again and again and again. And you're like, okay, Kani, enough.
Yeah, I know that. I recognize that.
So on to more lighter topics.
I've been waiting for this story because you sneaked open up the conversation when we just came to the studio. Like, I have this really cool dating story I want to share. And I'm like, okay, tell me. No, we're going to do it on the podcast. So, Ate, perimeno.
This is so funny. So obviously, like, we all have funny dating stories here and there. And we've dated some questionable people, some of us, all of us.
Yeah.
So I was talking to one of my friends, most gorgeous girl, works hard, independent, amazing girl. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about this guy she was dating that was very unattractive and very just not it. Mm-hmm. And then we were discussing a story where she was like, where her friend was like, babe, do you remember like years ago when you were dating that person? And she was like, oh my God, don't remind me. She's like, do you remember when you came and you were so happy? He took you for like a getaway to a hotel and you came and you told me so proudly how he paid for it.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God, yeah, the cocaine.
What?
I was like, what? You dated a drug dealer? She was like, no, he was a barman, but he wanted to take me to a hotel. So he crushed cocaine, he crushed Panadol and he sold it as cocaine.
What? Wait, so he could pay for the hotel? He did that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
If he wanted to, he would.
Yeah, that's
He crushed Panadol.
Oh my God, I feel like a little bit like sympathy for the guy, but also, yeah, sad, man.
Isn't that the most disturbing story you have ever heard?
Wait, how? So he told her that he did it, or did he?
He was so proud, and she was so proud of him. He was like, "Bravo, baby!"
Whoa. Okay, so she was cool with it.
I mean, clearly, she was young at the moment.
Did they continue dating after that?
For a bit. He then left to Greece. But
that is a good example of
that is hilarious. If he wanted to, he would. Yeah. But it's also a really good example of like a proper red flag.
Yes. No, we don't want drug dealers. Oh my goodness.
He wasn't a drug dealer. He was a hustler.
Yes. That's a different way to see it.
So yeah.
That's kind of romantic though. I must give that. It's like a movie scene. Like he wants to spend night with her in hotel.
You're in a healthy state in life, Olivia. Please don't find that romantic. That is not romantic at all.
I can see the romance behind it. I mean, he didn't have money. He did find a way to do it. And yeah, maybe it's not the most ethical way to do it. There's other ways. That was the easy way. But I can see it as a movie scene. I watched too many rom-coms.
That was one of the most disturbing dating stories I have ever heard in my life.
Whoa. I'm trying to think of dating stories, but I don't have anything in my mind.
No, my stories are more like, I don't know, nothing crazy.
I just realized also I never really dated in my life.
Really?
No, I just went straight into almost relationships.
No.
Or like...
I dated, but every person I've actually dated and gone on a few dates with, it ended up in a relationship.
Yeah, okay.
Or I have had like 1 or 2 off dates where one was really bad. We went to a restaurant and he opened the menu and he was like, oh my God, why is it so expensive? And it wasn't that expensive.
You were like, gone, bye-bye, I don't want you.
And I was like, man, okay, I get it. It's okay to feel that way. Don't say it on a first date. Come on.
No. And also, if you already know there's going to be, if you're going to go out for a date, as we talked about in a different episode, go with the budget that you have.
Yeah. Or I've had other situations where it's the complete opposite spectrum and it's like a complete and utter snob that is so rude to the staff. And then I'll start being rude to him and nice to the staff. And I think once I even walked out on a guy, I was like, I'm sorry, I can't deal with this. And I left.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, but for me, when you're rude to staff, it says everything I need to know about you as a person.
It's a gigantic red flags in every relationship.
Or once I went on a date with this guy and we went for an afternoon juice at Colors Cafe. And I arrived like 5-10 minutes late and he was already drinking a glass of wine. And when I came, he just drank a second and a third. Bless him, he was older than me, but he was nervous. And he just got smashed.
Oh no, poor guy.
And I was just like dying to leave. And then I made up an excuse that I have to be somewhere. And I was just like, I'm sorry, I can't deal with this. If you can't face me sober.
Yeah, no. Especially you who don't really drink either.
I don't. I never have.
Yeah.
Like an odd occasion here and there. But like to me, it's just not nice.
No.
Yeah. Oof. Or like I had a situation where I had a planned date with someone and we had gone on a date before and we were supposed to go to the mountains, but he was from a different city in Cyprus and he was supposed to pick me up from Limassol and we were supposed to go to the mountains, to like the vineyards or something. I don't know.
Oh, romantic.
And it was very cute. I like these types of things. It's very sweet. And something came up with my family and I texted him in the morning, like several hours early. And I was like, listen, I'm going to have to reschedule. Something came up with my family. I can't for today.
Yeah.
And he turns around and he's like, but I was going to drive to a different city for you. And he called me and he was like, yeah. And how can you cancel on me? And I literally turned around and I responded to him in Greek. And I was like, ρε φίλε, εντζορκέστε πας το γάρο που το χορκό πνάσε.
Oh, damn,
and I was literally like,
that.
you're
How
not,
do you translate that?
You're literally not coming on a donkey from the village. Like, what is the big deal?
Yeah.
Like, you were driving to see me. You offered. And I'm sorry if now early on, it's such a struggle and a hassle for you to drive to a different city. How is this ever going to work? Wait. You're always going to be driving to a different city. And that night, he still came to Limassol and went and hooked up with his ex. And then they dated for a year. So yeah, for me, if you show any signs of laziness, any signs of like insecurity, any signs of like extreme jealousy, red flag, bye. You?
I have a lot of red flags I don't like also.
Like red flags, tell me.
What you already mentioned with the waiter, I find it extremely unattractive when someone does not say thank you every time they fix their tables. Like when they pour water, they get you the cutlery or they have to say thank you every time.
Do you look at how guys are dressed?
Yes, of course. Oh, okay. We're going to go. I look how they smile. I look what kind of shoes they're wearing.
What kind of shoes do you like?
Sneakers. I like sneakers on guys. Yes. I see how their hair is like, oh my God, that's so shallow. But I do look at the appearance because obviously this is the first thing you see.
I asked for the way they dress because it's not a physical trait they're not in control of. You took it to the physical appearance.
True. Good point. That's a valid point. With the dress, yes, of course. I mean, I like them to have a sense of style. Like, but that's also.
I don't like them too stylish, though.
No, I want them to be.
I don't want you to be better dressed than I am.
No, I want them to be equally dressed, or maybe even nicer dressed. I don't mind. But yeah, I think style is very subjective. Like what you like, I like different. Like I don't like show off things. I don't like prints. I don't like on guys now. I like more simplicity. I also like costumes, of course. Like so costumes. No, it's not.
Oh my God, can we talk about the tuxedo effect?
Yes. Yeah. What about it?
Do you know what the tuxedo effect is?
I can understand what it means, but I want you to explain it.
It's literally like if you look at a guy wearing normal clothes and he's like a 6. If he wears a tux, he's a 9.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that.
The tuxedo does something to men.
What is it about?
I don't know. It's the tuxedo effect. They just like you will see the same guy and you'll be like, whoa.
They look like powerful.
I don't know. It does something. It's like makeup for men. A beard as well.
Yeah.
A beard can really make a guy's face look so different.
Yes. Like, do you like a lot of beard or like little beard?
I like a beard, but like a properly trimmed, very like I mean, we talked about it, 3 showers a day. Remember all that? I like very well put together, taken care of guys, metrosexual.
3 times shower a day.
No, I really like a clean cut beard, but I like a beard.
Basically, you want the guy to be clean. I also like
well taken care of.
Yes, exactly.
And I look at guys' nails and hands, clean hands. I don't like gym hands.
Oh, you put this color.
That's an ick for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't like gym hands at all.
So how is the guy going to work out with sports activities?
Wear gloves.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Good point. Gloves.
It looks a little bit.
No, it's nice. I agree. Gloves.
Yeah.
And water shoes in the water park. So
no.
So they don't
Please not. So yeah. I forgot how this escalated.
Yeah, it's fine. I think anyway we need to wrap it up. And this is a topic that we can go on forever and ever because I find it extremely interesting. Oh my God, you know what would be so cool? If we can put a Q&A on our Instagram on Ice Latte Girls and girls or guys can share their dating stories.
And dating stories and icks and red flags and like horror dating stories.
Of course, you'll be oh my God, I cannot pronounce
anonymous.
Exactly.
Unless you don't want to be anonymous.
Yeah,
we can name you. Just tell us.
Yeah, we can share it on the stories or maybe in a podcast later on.
Oh, that would be so funny.
That would be really funny.
I love like these crazy dating stories.
People have
like
experience.
People have some weird experiences. Yeah. Really weird.
Yeah. Okay. So that was
it.
And that was it. Another episode of
Ice Latte Girls.
Thank you for watching and listening. And follow us on Instagram.
And see you next week.
Exactly. See you next week.